In this video, you're going to learn how to guess a word that your spectator is thinking of out of a random page from a book. This is a beautiful method that goes above and beyond what I at least would usually expect when it comes to methods to get to a word in a book. This is a classic secret from Theodore Annemann, and it's called the Premier Book Test. You want to learn this trick, just keep watching. Through a series of free and random choices, you're going to be able to guess the exact word they're thinking of. So this book test does use a deck of cards, but don't shy away because it's not a simple, obvious force and then they go to the page number or something like that. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but this hidden gem from Theodore Annemann has a little more layers to it that makes it look really free, really casual even, and really fair for those skeptical audience members. So check this out. The deck is in a very interesting stack. Now I'll have a screenshot of how Annemann put it, but the way it is going to work is that no matter which two cards someone takes, it'll add up to 14 or 15. So I'm going to do a quick show of a few examples. We have 7, 8, 6, 9, 5, 10, 4, Jack. So based on the values of Jack being 11, Queen being 12, and King being 13, no matter what, and Ace being 1, no matter what, it's going to be 14 or 15. So here's the stack, just so if you want to recreate it, you can take a screenshot and do so with your deck of cards. So you see what I mean here? If they pick the 4 and the Jack, that makes 15. But if they pick the Jack and the 3, that makes 14. So you don't even have to cut it in pairs. Every pair of cards works in this sequence. So now, not only would any selection of pairs work, but also we can cut the deck. So we can make it look like it's a shuffle, but I'm just sequencing the deck here. And I learned this style of doing it from Illusionist, posted a free tutorial. So shout out to Pete Turner doing it in this way. But this is a way that you keep the cycle of the deck without it actually changing. Another way you can do that is cut the deck. And so you can have the audience cut the deck themselves, cut it again if they'd like, or you can explain like, hey, just take some cards, put it on the bottom, take some more cards, put them on the bottom, whatever you're comfortable with. At the end of the day, they're going to take 2 cards out of the deck. Now, whichever 2 they pick, what's great about this is that you don't have to know them. So it doesn't matter what 2 they pick. You don't even have to know whether this adds up to a 14 or 15, but it will add up to a 14 or 15. So Queen plus 2, for example, is going to be 14. You might have to instruct people these days what this value is, but you can just briefly say, let's pretend Jacks are 11, Queens are 12, Kings are 13. Let's pretend Ace is 1. So you might need a little bit of instruction on that, just because I think like the playing card value literacy there, that might not be something you can assume in modern times, but you can get over that hurdle, explain that to them, and they'll memorize this as 14. If it was any other case, it might be 15. Now here was something cool Annemann realized. If you're enjoying this, consider subscribing so you don't miss another video. I also have magician merch on my channel, including items with card reveals on them so that you can use them as maybe a finale to a card routine you're doing. And hey, I made a journal for magicians that you can get on Amazon. You can keep track of your props and your pocket space, and this allows you to keep your notes on magic in a dedicated space away from other writing. And if you want to get videos ahead of time, you can join the membership at the Insider tier. Thank you for supporting this channel. I hope you enjoy the rest of the video. If it's 14 that they're thinking of, they're going to be looking on the left side of the page. If it is 15 that they're thinking of, it's going to be right side. All books, so far as I'm aware, list their even numbered pages on the left and their odd numbered pages on the right. So when they look at this in a moment, you'll be able to tell which page they selected. But before you do that, you're gonna have another participant come and they're gonna shuffle these cards, and they can truly shuffle them, but that will break the pattern at that point. But they're gonna truly shuffle them, and they're going to take and flip over one of the cards. It doesn't matter what card. So if they flip over a card, it's going to be any value from 1 to 13, just because the nature of cards go from Ace, meaning 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 10, and then Jacks again are 11, Queens are 12, Kings are 13. So the highest number it could be is 13. Now here's where the little bit of prep work that you'll need to do comes in. You'll need to have 13 words memorized from the 14th page and the 15th page. If you don't want to have them memorized, what you can do is what magicians call a crib. And what you can do is you can write down that list, both lists for the 14th page and the 15th page, and you can have that crib somewhere accessible. Kind of a lazy but still effective version would be to have a journal, or like a little pocket-sized journal. And that can be what you're explaining as what you're going to use to try to divine the word. And then posted inside that journal, you have your crib. So you're going to open it to the pages. I'm going to try to guess the word you're thinking of, and all the while you'll have all the words listed in that crib, in that page, and then you'll get your word, you write it down, you can rip it out and get rid of the journal. So does that make sense? You don't have to memorize words if you don't want to. Magicians and mentalists have used the concept of cribs for a long time. Whether you have it memorized or you have it somewhere that you can cheat off of, that's the idea, is that let's say it was the 6th word, you're gonna have knowledge of what the 6th word is. And here's where watching their eyes comes in. So this person, this second participant, has turned over the card. We know they're going to be counting 6 down. You're going to tell your first participant, and Annemann emphasized this in his book, tell your first participant, all right, just count down to that word on the page. And they're going to do so even though they're not showing you, and they're going to count to that word. When they're putting their finger or when they're looking at the page, you're going to watch for which side they're on. They're on this side, you know it's the 15th page, and if they're on this side, you know it's the 14th page, and that'll let you know which list to access. How cool is that? So the only other thing you want to do is be clear to them if you want them to count across or down. It doesn't matter. It might be easier to memorize if you do across, because then you have a portion of a sentence, which I believe is how Theodore Annemann put it. So you'll have 13 words from here memorized or cribbed, 13 words from here memorized or cribbed. So in this case, let's say they chose 15 and then they went to, you know, the 6th word here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You already know it's the 6th word. You're watching them count to it. You're going to know 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that it's the word his. And then you can write it down or divine it however you want. And because you had that second audience member shuffle, everything is left completely examinable. Now, one thing to note is that 2 aces are left outside the deck of cards. They are not involved in the stack. Another thing is that the suits don't matter. So you're just paying attention to value. Once you get that all together, you leave out 2 of the aces, and then you have your stacked deck. So this could be a mentalism opener, or you could just have this deck aside and you have a separate deck that you're using for other things, and then you just ring this deck in when you want to do this book test. Some things to emphasize. Again, you know, it would be easy to just force cards in a more normal way. You know, you just throw some cards in, use that as your number force. I think that's a very easy and casual but still effective way to do this. But what I love is how you can give the audience member the deck and they can give it a few cuts. They can take any 2 cards together and it'll force one of those 2 pages. And then from there, they'll remember that the deck was truly shuffled after that. A random card was turned over, and you will be able to ascertain, okay, 11th card, and it's going to either be on the 14th or 15th page. You're going to watch them count to that 11th word to know which list you're accessing from. So all of those things working together make it just that bit more effective because they get to freely handle the deck. You get a couple spectators involved in it, and I think this is just really, really cool. So another hidden gem to call to your attention, and I hope you enjoy reading some minds with this one. Let me know what you think of it in the comments below, and hey, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out this video that will be recommended to you on screen now. But until next time, keep enjoying your magic, stay a hobbyist at heart, and I'll see you guys in the next video.